The grand hall of the Galactic Coalition shook with heavy footsteps. Commander Krostar walked onto the stage, each step making the metal floor groan under his weight. He stood nearly 3 meters tall, covered in thick gray scales that looked more like armor than skin. His forearms flexed as he gripped the podium, crushing the edge slightly without meaning to. Around the hall, representatives from 40 different species watched. Some floated in special tanks of water. Others breathed different gases through masks. A few were so small they needed amplifiers just to be heard. But all of them looked at Krostar with respect, and maybe a little fear. For 300 cycles, the Vrkesh have served the Coalition. Krostar began, his voice rumbling like thunder. We have gone where others cannot go. We have survived what others cannot survive. We are the children of Vrakos, a world that tried to kill us every single day. Behind him, a massive screen showed images of the Vrkesh homeworld. Volcanoes erupted constantly. Storms tore across continents with winds that could peel metal from buildings. The gravity was so strong that most species would be crushed flat, just standing on the surface. The temperature swung from burning hot to freezing cold within hours. We lift what you cannot lift, Krostar continued, picking up a metal bar with one hand. It was 300 kilograms. He bent it like soft clay. We breathe what you cannot breathe. We eat what would poison you. We walk on worlds where you would die in minutes. The audience murmured in agreement. Everyone knew this was true. The Vrkesh were special. They were the only Deathworld species in the known galaxy. Every other civilization came from gentle worlds with kind climates and easy living. When the Coalition needed someone to go to a dangerous place, they called the Vrkesh. We do not say this to boast, Krostar said, though his chest swelled with pride. We say this so you understand. We protect you because we can. We are strong, so you do not have to be. This is our purpose. This is our honor. Applause filled the hall. Well, what counted as applause for 40 different species? Some clapped. Others made clicking sounds. A few flashed lights. One species just released a pleasant smell. In a small room off to the side, Vexrim watched the ceremony on a screen. He was younger than Krostar, but still a veteran soldier. His job was to monitor communications from the border regions. It was boring work, but someone had to do it. A signal beeped on his console. Vexrim frowned. It was a distress call from the Outer Rim, near the mining operation on Kelos 7. That moon was a terrible place. High radiation, crushing gravity, and an atmosphere that could melt most metals. Only Vrkesh workers could handle it, and even they needed protective suits. But this distress call was not from a Vrkesh ship. The signature was unknown. The language was being translated by the computer, but slowly. The ship was small, probably a cargo vessel, and according to the sensors, it was damaged and sitting right on the surface of Kelos 7. Vexrim felt a moment of sadness. Whoever was on that ship was probably already dead. Kelos 7 would kill an unprotected person in seconds. Even inside a damaged ship, they would not last long. He sent an alert to the ceremony hall. Krostar would want to know. The Vrkesh took pride in trying to save everyone, even when it seemed hopeless. Far across the galaxy, on a small cargo ship sitting on the surface of a terrible moon, Juan was not dead. He was annoyed. Nari, can you fix the drive or not? He called out, looking at the engine readouts. Everything was red. Red was bad. Give me 10 minutes, his sister's voice came back through the radio. Maybe 20. This radiation is making the tools act weird. Juan looked out the window at the rocky surface of Kelos 7. The sky was a sick yellow-green color. The gravity made everything feel heavy. His legs were tired from just walking around the ship. But he had felt worse. One time back on Earth, he had to haul cargo in a place that was just as hot and twice as humid. At least it's not raining, he muttered to himself. A voice came from behind him. Captain, we got a response to our distress call. It was Taeyang, the young navigator. He looked nervous. They're sending a rescue team, should be here in about 6 hours. Good, Juan said. Tell them we'll be fine until then. Jiwan, how are the supplies? The medic's voice came through the ship's intercom. We have enough air for 2 days, water for 4 days. Food for a week if we're careful. We're okay, Captain. Juan nodded. This was not the first time something had gone wrong. Their ship was old, and old ships broke down. But they always managed. That's what humans did. They managed. Outside the ship, Nari was lying on her back under the hull, welding a cracked plate. She wore a thick suit, but it was not as thick as most species would need. The radiation meter on her arm kept beeping warnings. She ignored it. The human body could handle a lot of radiation, and they had medicine back on the ship that would help her cells repair any damage. Almost done, she said to herself. The weld looked good, strong. It would hold until they could get to a real repair station. She stood up, feeling the heavy gravity pull at her. It was like wearing a weighted vest. Uncomfortable but not impossible. Back home, her grandmother used to carry water buckets up a mountain every day. If Grandma could do that at 80 years old, Nari could handle some extra gravity at 30. The stars above looked strange through the yellow-green atmosphere. Nari wondered if the rescue team would be friendly. This was humanity's first real trip into unknown space. Earth had only discovered faster-than-light travel 2 years ago. Before that, humans thought they were alone in the universe. Then they found out the universe was very crowded. Hundreds of species, thousands of worlds, all connected in something called the Galactic Coalition. It was exciting and scary at the same time. Nari climbed back into the ship through the airlock. The air inside smelled stale but breathable. She pulled off her helmet and wiped sweat from her forehead. Fixed, she announced. We can take off whenever we want. But I still think we should wait for the rescue team. It would be rude to leave before they arrive. Juan agreed. Besides, I want to meet them. According to the database we bought, this region is controlled by someone called the Vrakesh. Says here they're tough, from a hard world. Taeyang looked at the information on his screen. Their world has 1.8 times Earth's gravity. Extreme temperatures, volcanic activity. Sounds like home, Jiwan said with a laugh. None of them knew that 6 hours later their definition of normal would shock the galaxy. Vexrim suited up with his rescue team. The suits were massive, designed to protect Vrakesh bodies from the worst environments. Each suit weighed half a ton and had its own power source. They looked like walking tanks. Remember? Vexrim told his team. We are probably recovering bodies. The ship has been sitting there for 3 hours. No species can survive Kelos 7 that long without heavy protection. His team nodded. They had done this before. It was always sad, but it was part of the job. At least they could return the bodies to their families. The rescue ship landed 100 meters from the unknown vessel. Vexrim was the first down the ramp. His suit's sensors immediately screamed warnings. Radiation levels were dangerous. The atmosphere was eating away at exposed metal. The gravity was 2.3 times galactic standard. Even for Vrakesh, this place was miserable. Slow and steady, Vexrim ordered. Watch your radiation counters. We have 30 minutes before we need to cycle back to the ship. They walked carefully toward the damaged vessel. It was a strange design, blocky and simple. The metal was primitive but sturdy. Some of the hull plates were clearly hand-welded. What kind of species built ships like this? Then Vexrim saw something that made him stop walking. There was someone outside the ship. A figure in a light suit was checking the landing gear. The suit was thin, nothing like the heavy armor the Vrakesh wore. It looked like something you would wear to protect against dust, not a deadly moon. Is that a robot? One of his team members asked. Scanning, another said. No, it reads as organic. But that's impossible. Nothing organic can survive out here in such light protection. The figure noticed them and waved. Actually waved, like this was a normal, friendly meeting and not a lethal environment. Vexrim activated his translator. This is Vrakesh Rescue Team 7. Are you in distress? Do you need medical assistance? The figure walked toward them. Now Vexrim could see more details. It was small, maybe half his height. 2 arms, 2 legs. The face was visible through a clear helmet. Soft skin, no scales or armor. It looked incredibly fragile. "Oh, hello," the small creature said. The translator worked quickly. "Thanks for coming, but we're actually okay now. My sister fixed the engine. We were just waiting to thank you before we left." It seemed polite. Vexrim felt his brain struggle with this information. Okay? How could they be okay? "You fixed your ship?" he asked. "Out here? In this environment?" "Yeah, it was just a cracked coolant line and some blown plates," the creature said. "Took about an hour. I'm Nari, by the way. Our captain is inside. Want to come in? We have tea." Tea. This creature was offering tea on a moon that should be killing them all. "How long have you been here?" Vexrim demanded. "About 6 hours total," Nari said. "Why? Is that bad?" "Your message said you would take 6 hours to arrive, so we figured it was fine." One of Vexrim's team members was checking his scanner frantically. "Commander, her suit is barely rated for Class 3 environments. This is a Class 11 environment. She should be dead." "The radiation alone." "Oh, the radiation." Nari tapped the meter on her arm. "Yeah, it's pretty high. I'll take some pills when I get back inside. We have good medicine for radiation exposure. Are you guys coming in or not? It's kind of tiring talking in this gravity." "Tiring." She said tiring, not deadly. Vexrim made a decision that would change everything he thought he knew about the galaxy. "Yes, we will come inside your ship." The interior of the human ship was cramped and hot. Vexrim had to duck to fit through the doorway even after removing most of his suit. The air smelled strange, organic, living. A male human greeted them. He was even smaller than Nari, but he moved with confidence. "Welcome. I'm Juan, the captain. Sorry about the mess. We weren't expecting guests." "You are not dead," Vexrim said. It was not a question, but he said it anyway because his brain needed to hear it out loud. "Nope, very much alive," Juan said cheerfully. "Please sit if you can fit. We don't have chairs for, how many arms do you have?" "4," Vexrim said automatically. He was still trying to process this. "Your ship has been on Kello 7 for 6 hours. The radiation should have killed you. The atmosphere should have corroded your hull. The gravity should have what?" Another human appeared. This one was female, wearing what looked like a medical uniform. "Sorry, I'm Jiwan. I'm the medic. Are you guys okay? You look stressed." Stressed. The Vrakesh were stressed because the universe had stopped making sense. "We need to understand," Vexrim said slowly. "What species are you? Where are you from?" "We're human," Juan said. "From a planet called Earth. We're pretty new to space travel. This is actually our first trip this far from home. We're excited to meet other species." "Earth," Vexrim repeated. He pulled up his datapad and searched the Coalition database. Nothing. No record of Earth. No record of humans. "Your world is not in our records. Describe it." Juan thought for a moment. "Well, it's got oceans and continents. Lots of different climates. Gravity is. What did the survey say, Taiyang?" The young human at the navigation console called out, 1.0 reference standard. "Right, normal gravity," Juan continued. "Weather is pretty varied. We have storms, but they're manageable. Temperature ranges from really cold to really hot depending on where you are." "Define really cold and really hot," Vexrim said. "Cold can get down to -40 degrees. Hot can get up to 50 degrees. In extreme places, anyway. Most people live where it's more comfortable." Vexrim's datapad translated the numbers. He stared at the results. That temperature range would kill most species. "And you consider this normal?" "Sure," Jiwan said. "I mean, it's home. We're adapted to it." "What is your atmosphere composed of?" "Mostly nitrogen and oxygen," Juan said. "About 21% oxygen. Is that weird?" 21% oxygen. That was high. Very high. Most species breathed atmospheres with 5 to 10% oxygen. More than that was considered toxic. It caused cellular damage over time. "And you breathe this constantly?" Vexrim asked. "Well, yeah," Nari said. "I mean, we kind of need it to live." Vexrim looked at his team. They looked back at him. Everyone was thinking the same thing. This was impossible. Everything about these humans was impossible. They came from a world with deadly gravity, toxic oxygen levels, and temperature extremes that would sterilize most planets. Your world, Vexrim said quietly, would be classified as a death world, like Vrakos, like my homeworld. The humans looked at each other in confusion. Really, Juan said. But I mean, it's just Earth. It's normal to us. Nothing about you is normal, Vexrim said. He meant it as an observation, not an insult, but he was not sure his translator captured the right tone. The Vrakesh have always believed we were unique, that we were the only species from a world harsh enough to forge strong bodies. But you. We're strong, Jiwan asked. She flexed her small arm, looking at it doubtfully. We don't look strong. Vexrim watched a creature that was surviving in an environment that would kill most of the galaxy, wearing minimal protection, breathing poison air, standing in crushing gravity, and asking if she was strong. Commander Krostar needs to meet you, Vexrim said. All of you. Will you come to Vrakos, as guests? Juan looked at his crew. They had a silent conversation with just eye contact. Then he smiled. Sure, why not? We came out here to meet aliens. Might as well meet the tough ones first. Vexrim had no idea how to explain that these small, friendly, fragile-looking creatures might be tougher than the Vrakesh. He was not sure he even believed it himself yet. But he was about to find out. The human ship followed the Vrakesh vessel to the homeworld. Juan stood on his bridge, watching the planet grow larger on the screen. It looked angry. Red clouds swirled around it. Even from space, he could see volcanic eruptions lighting up the dark side of the planet. That's a rough-looking place, Taiyang said softly. We grew up in Busan, Nari replied. We've seen rough. When they landed, the humans put on their light environmental suits. Vexrim had sent them the atmospheric data. High sulfur content, low oxygen, and gravity that was 1.8 times Earth normal. Uncomfortable but survivable. Krauzatar was waiting at the spaceport with a crowd of Vrakesh. He wanted to see these creatures that Vexrim kept talking about. When the humans walked down their ship's ramp, he felt disappointed. They were so small, so soft-looking. Their suits were thin. They looked like children playing dress-up. Welcome to Vrakos, Krostar said. His voice boomed across the landing pad. I am Commander Krostar. We are honored to host the first humans. Juan bowed slightly. A gesture he had learned was polite in many cultures. Thank you for inviting us. We're honored to be here. You must be tired from your journey, Krostar said. Please let us show you to your quarters. We have prepared accommodations. The humans followed the Vrakesh through the spaceport. Walking was hard. The extra gravity pulled at every step. Juan felt like he was carrying a heavy backpack that he could not take off. But he had trained for this. Earth's gravity was already pretty high compared to most species. He could handle a bit more. What surprised him was that his crew was handling it too. Jiwan walked steadily, her medic training helping her maintain good posture. Nari, used to physical work, took strong steps. Even young Taiyang kept up, though his face showed the strain. Krostar kept glancing back at them. They should be struggling more. They should be asking for help or mechanical assistance. But they just kept walking. The quarters were nice. Large rooms with high ceilings. The beds were too big, but that was fine. What bothered Juan more was the temperature. It was hot, very hot. About 40 degrees, his suit's sensor said. Is the environmental control broken? Jiwan asked. A Vrakesh attendant looked confused. No, this is standard comfort temperature. Is it not suitable? It's a bit warm, Juan admitted. But we can adapt. Thank you. After the Vrakesh left, Nari pulled off her suit's helmet. Okay, it's really hot. But remember when we worked on that ship near the equator? That was hotter. True, Juan said. We'll manage. The next day, the real test began. Krostar presented it as a cultural exchange. He wanted to show the humans Vrakesh traditions. But really, he wanted to see what these creatures could do. The first test was a strength challenge. Young Vrakesh warriors competed to lift heavy stones. The lightest stone was 100 kilograms. The heaviest was 500. Would your people like to try? Krostar asked, expecting them to politely decline. Sure, Nari said. She walked up to the 100-kilogram stone. She bent her knees, gripped the stone, and lifted. Her face showed effort, but she got it up to her waist. She held it for 3 seconds, then carefully put it down. The crowd went silent. A creature that small in heavy gravity had just lifted 100 kilograms. A Vrakesh child could do it, yes, but this was not a Vrakesh. This was something else. Juan tried next. He lifted the same stone, but higher. He got it to his chest before setting it down. He was breathing hard but smiling. Your people are stronger than you look, Krostar admitted. How is this possible? We evolved as persistence hunters, Jiwon explained. She had brought her datapad with information about Earth. Our ancestors chased prey for hours until it collapsed from exhaustion. We needed strong legs, good stamina, and efficient cooling. Cooling? Krostar asked. Sweating, Jiwon said, pointing to the moisture on her forehead. We can release heat through our skin. It lets us run for a long time without overheating. The next test was a feast. Vrakesh food was placed before the humans. The dishes smelled strong. Some contained compounds that were mildly toxic to most species but gave Vrakesh extra energy. Please eat, Krostar said, though I understand if your biology cannot process our food. Juan looked at the spread. He picked up something that looked like meat, sniffed it, then took a bite. It was spicy, very spicy. His eyes watered, but he kept chewing. This is good, he said. Reminds me of food from home. We have a dish called buldak that's similar. Nari tried a purple vegetable. It was bitter and made her tongue tingle, but she kept eating. Different, but interesting. Jiwon scanned the food with her medical device. Some alkaloids here, a few heavy metals, but nothing our livers can't handle. We should be fine. Krositar watched them eat food that would hospitalize most species. They did not just survive it. They enjoyed it. One of the Vrakesh scientists, Korvas, leaned over to him. Commander, I tested their biology, Korvas whispered. Their stomach acid is incredibly strong. They can digest almost anything organic. And their liver is remarkable. It processes toxins at 10 times the rate of most species. How? Krostar asked. Because they evolved eating rotten meat, poisonous plants, and anything else they could find, Korvas said. They are scavengers as much as hunters. Their bodies are built to handle garbage and turn it into fuel. The third test was a ritual pain trial. Young Vrakesh proved their courage by holding their hand over a flame or enduring a cut without flinching. It was symbolic, not meant to cause real harm, but it hurt. Krostar hesitated to suggest it, but Jiwon volunteered. She rolled up her sleeve and held her arm out. A Vrakesh elder made a shallow cut across her forearm. Blood welled up red and bright. Jiwon did not flinch. She watched the blood for a moment, then pressed a cloth to it. Do you have water? She asked. I should clean this. Are you not in pain? The elder asked. Oh, it hurts, Jiwon said. But pain is just information. It tells me I'm injured, so I know to be careful. No point making a fuss about it. She cleaned the wound, applied something from her medical kit, and bandaged it. Should be healed in a few days. We heal pretty fast. That evening, Krostar met with his council. 2 more humans had arrived from Earth. Suji, who studied other cultures, and Mira, who studied biology. They had come to help explain humanity to the Vrakesh. Tell me about your world, Krositar demanded. Tell me how it made you this way. Mira pulled up images on a holographic display. Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Life has existed there for 3.8 billion years. In that time, the planet has tried to kill everything on it multiple times. The images showed disasters. Asteroid impacts, ice ages that froze entire continents, volcanic eruptions that blocked out the sun, mass extinctions that wiped out most life. 5 major mass extinctions, Mira continued. Each time most species died. But some survived. They evolved. They adapted. They became tougher. Humans are descended from survivors. Every generation faced new challenges. Disease, predators, climate change, starvation. The weak died. The strong had children. Over millions of years, we became very, very hard to kill. Suji added, and we're not even the toughest things on Earth. We have animals that can survive in boiling water, freezing ice, and complete darkness. We have bacteria that eat rocks and breathe sulfur. Earth is full of extremophils. We're just the ones who learned to use tools and build spaceships. Krostar felt something he had not felt in a long time. Uncertainty. The Vrakesh had always been special. They had always been the tough ones. But these humans, they were tough in different ways. Not just strong. Not just resilient. They were adaptable. They turned weaknesses into strengths. Tomorrow, Krostar said, we hunt. We will see how your endurance compares to ours. The hunting trail was 50 kilometers through rough terrain. In normal gravity, it would be challenging. In Vrakos gravity, it was brutal. The Vrkesh ran in short bursts, using their immense strength to leap over obstacles. They were fast but needed frequent rests. The humans ran differently. They ran slowly but never stopped. Their breathing stayed steady. Their pace never changed. After 2 hours, the Vrkesh hunters were tired. After 4 hours, they were exhausted. After 6 hours, Taeyang was still running. He was the slowest runner, the youngest, the least experienced, but he just kept going. His face was red. His body was covered in sweat, but he did not stop. When he finally crossed the finish line 8 hours after starting, he bent over with his hands on his knees and gasped for air. Then he straightened up and smiled. That was a good workout, he said. Krostar realized the truth. The Vrkesh were sprint predators. They were built for power. But humans were marathon predators. They were built to never give up, and that, he thought, might be even more terrifying. The emergency alert came at midnight. A mining colony on a world called Barak 9 was in critical condition. An industrial accident had released toxic chemicals into the air. The main dome had collapsed, trapping workers under rubble. Worse, a biological contaminant had been released from the research facility. People were sick. People were dying. Krostar received the report in his command center. He immediately ordered 3 rescue ships to prepare, but his staff gave him bad news. Commander Barak 9 is 18 days away at emergency speed, an officer said. By the time we arrive with proper equipment and medical supplies, most of the colonists will be dead. How many are there? Krostar asked. 412. Mixed species. Mostly Dalarian Quinn, some Vrkesh supervisors. Krostar slammed his fist on the table. The Dalarian Quinn were fragile species. They could not survive for 18 days in toxic air with minimal supplies. Even the Vrkesh supervisors would struggle. We have to try, he said. Send the rescue teams. Emergency speed. No delays, Commander, another voice said. It was Juan. He had been observing from the back of the room, learning about Vrkesh military operations. What are the conditions on Barak 9? Krostar pulled up the data. Gravity 1.4 standard. Atmosphere is now contaminated with chlorine gas and industrial solvents. Temperature is 35 degrees. The biological agent is a modified bacteria that causes respiratory failure. Juan studied the data on his personal device. He sent a quick message to his ship. Then he looked at Krostar. We can be there in 4 days, Juan said. We have a faster drive than your ships. And I think we can help with the rescue. Krostar wanted to say no. These humans were guests, not rescue workers. But 4 days versus 18 days meant hundreds of lives saved. You cannot survive those conditions, Krostar said. The chlorine alone is a problem but not fatal, Juan said. We have filters. We have protective gear. And we've handled chemical disasters before. Back on Earth, industrial accidents happen. We know what to do. The bacteria... Jiwan is a medic. Let her see the data on the bacteria. We might have medicine that works. Krostar made a decision. You may try, but I am sending Vexrim with you. His team will provide support. 6 hours later, the human ship launched with Vexrim and 3 Vrkesh soldiers aboard. The trip took 4 days of hard flying. During that time, G1 studied the bacterial infection. It attacks the respiratory system, she explained to Vexrim. It creates inflammation and fluid buildup. The victim drowns in their own fluids. We have no cure, Vexrim said. Do you? Not specifically for this bacteria, G1 admitted. But we have broad-spectrum antibiotics, and we have anti-inflammatory drugs, and we have steroids. If we combine them correctly, we might be able to keep people alive long enough for their immune systems to fight back. Might? Vexrim asked. Medicine is not perfect, G1 said. But might is better than nothing. 2 more humans joined them during the flight. Doyun, a security officer with rescue training, and Yuna, who specialized in emergency response. They brought extra equipment from a nearby human transport ship. When they arrived at Barak 9, the scene was worse than expected. The dome was split open. Bodies lay in the rubble. The air shimmered with toxic haze. The surviving colonists had sealed themselves in small emergency shelters. But those shelters were not meant for long-term survival. We have maybe 2 days before oxygen runs out in the shelters, Yuna said. reading the sensors. We need to work fast. The team put on their protective gear. The Vrakesh wore their heavy suits. The humans wore lighter gear, basically advanced hazmat suits with respirators. These suits will not protect you for long, Vexrim warned. Then we better work fast, Juan said. They split into teams. Nari and Doyen went to stabilize the collapsed sections of the dome. Jiwan and Yuna went to the medical center to treat the sick. Juan and Taiyang coordinated the rescue of trapped workers. Vexrim watched the humans work. They moved quickly but carefully. The toxic air did not slow them down. The heavy gravity made them move deliberately, but they adjusted. When Nari lifted a support beam, her muscles strained but held. When Doyen climbed through rubble to reach trapped workers, he did not hesitate despite the danger. The worst part was the sick bay. 40 people lay on beds, struggling to breathe. Their lungs were failing. Most species would die within hours. The medical staff had given up. They were just trying to make the patients comfortable. G1 walked in and immediately started giving orders. I need clean water, IV lines, and any sterilization equipment you have. Yuna, start setting up the portable ventilators. Ventilators? A Delari doctor asked. What are those? Machines that help people breathe, G1 explained. She was already filling syringes with medicine. If their lungs can't work, we make machines do it for them. She moved from bed to bed, injecting medicine, adjusting breathing tubes, checking vital signs. She worked for 6 hours without stopping. Her hands were steady. Her focus never wavered. One patient, a young Quinn, was the worst. His lungs had almost completely failed. He was drowning. Jiwan looked at him for a long moment, then made a decision. I need to intubate him, she said. Put a tube directly into his lungs so he can breathe. That will kill him, the Delari doctor said. His throat is too damaged. If I don't, he dies anyway, Jiwan said. She looked at Yuna. Get the tube ready. The smallest one we have. The procedure was brutal to watch, but Jiwan's hands did not shake. She had done this before in emergency rooms on Earth where every second counted. She got the tube in. The young Quinn gasped and then started breathing more easily. He'll live, Jiwan said. She moved to the next patient. Outside, Nari was doing the impossible. She was welding support beams in place, working in toxic air, her suit slowly degrading from the chemicals. Every breath burned a little, even through the filter. But she kept working. Doyen found a pocket of survivors trapped under a collapsed section. The space was tiny and the air was running out. A Vrakesh could not fit through the gap. Doyen looked at the narrow opening and then back at Vexrim. I can fit, Doyen said, but I'll have to take off some of my protective gear. That is suicide, Vexrim said. Maybe, Doyen replied, but they're definitely dead if I don't try. He stripped down to just a respirator and basic coveralls. Then he squeezed through the gap. The chemicals immediately started burning his exposed skin. He felt it hurt. But pain was just information. He found 3 survivors, including a Vrakesh supervisor who was too injured to move. Doyen tied a rope around the Vrakesh and shouted for Vexrim to pull. Then he did the same for the 2 Quinn workers. Finally, he climbed out himself. His skin was red and blistered, but he was smiling. 3 more saved, he said. Then he went to find more survivors. The rescue took 36 hours. The humans worked in shifts, sleeping only 4 hours at a time. They ate quickly, drank water constantly to replace what they lost through sweat, and went back to work. The galaxy watched through news broadcasts. The footage showed small, soft-looking humans doing things that should be impossible. Lifting rubble, working in toxic air, treating diseases that had no cure, never stopping, never giving up. In the sickbay, 37 of the 40 patients survived. The 3 who died had been too far gone when the humans arrived. Jiwan stood among the recovering patients, her eyes red from exhaustion, and spoke to the camera. We did what we could, she said simply. That's what humans do. We see a problem and we try to fix it. Juan gave an interview while Nari repaired the last section of the dome. A reporter asked him how the humans could survive such conditions. Juan thought about it. He thought about Earth with its hurricanes and earthquakes and diseases. He thought about his ancestors who survived ice ages and droughts and predators. Our planet tried to kill us for millions of years, he said. It made us tough, but it also made us stubborn. We don't give up easily. When someone needs help, we help them. That's not about being strong. That's just about being human. Back on Vrakos, Krauzatar watched the broadcasts. He watched humans do in days what would take Vrakesh weeks. He watched them work through pain and exhaustion. He watched them save lives that everyone else had written off as lost. And he understood something important. The Vrakesh were strong, but the humans were something else. They were relentless. They were adaptable. They were kind in the face of horror. They saw impossible situations and decided to try anyway. They are not like us, Korvas said, standing beside him. No, Krostar agreed. They are something new. Something the galaxy has never seen before. Should we be afraid? Korvas asked. Krostar thought about Juan sharing tea on a deadly moon, about Nari welding in toxic air, about Jiwan saving patients everyone else had abandoned, about Taeyang running for 8 hours without stopping. No, he said finally. We should be grateful. The humans are not conquerors. They are helpers. They see suffering and try to stop it. The galaxy needs more of that, not less. What do we do now? Korvas asked. Krostar smiled. It was not an expression Vrakesh used often, but it felt right. We learn from them, he said. And maybe we work with them. The Vrakesh and the humans together. 2 Deathworld species helping those who need it most. 3 months after the Barak 9 rescue, the Galactic Coalition called a special assembly. Representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered to discuss the newest species to join the galactic community. Humanity had gone from unknown to famous almost overnight. Isol arrived as Earth's official ambassador. She was older than most of the other humans the galaxy had met, with gray hair and a calm manner. She had spent 40 years in Earth's diplomatic corps, dealing with difficult negotiations and hostile parties. Aliens, she decided, were not much different from difficult humans. You just had to find common ground. Ambassador Isul, the coalition chairman, said, Earth has requested membership in the Galactic Coalition. However, we have concerns. Your species is unusual. We need to understand you better before we can make a decision. I understand, Isul said. Please ask whatever questions you have. A representative from the Quinn species spoke first. Your people saved our colonists on Barak 9. We are grateful, but we are also frightened. You survived conditions that should have killed you. You worked for days without proper rest. You healed diseases we thought were incurable. How is this possible? Isul smiled gently. We are not magic. We are not special. We simply come from a difficult world and it shaped us. May I show you something? She activated a holographic display. Images of Earth appeared. Beautiful oceans, green forests, snow-capped mountains. It looked peaceful, pretty, safe. This is Earth, Isul said. It looks nice, doesn't it? The representatives nodded. Now let me show you the reality, Isul continued. The images changed. A hurricane tore across an ocean. An earthquake split open a city. A volcano erupted, burying villages in ash. A flood swept away entire towns. A drought turned farmland into desert. Earth is beautiful, Isul said quietly, but it is also deadly. Every year, natural disasters kill thousands of humans. Diseases spread through our populations. Animals hunt us. Plants poison us. Even the weather can kill us. We live on a world that is constantly trying to end us. Then why do you stay? A Dalari representative asked. Why not leave such a terrible place? Because it is our home, Isul said. And because we learned something important. We learned to adapt. We learned to survive. We learned to help each other. When a hurricane destroys a city, other humans come to rebuild it. When a disease spreads, we create medicine. When someone is trapped under rubble, we dig them out. We do not give up. We do not abandon each other. That is what makes us human. Kyung, a human scientist, spoke next. He had been working with Korvas to study human biology and compare it to other species. We have completed our analysis, Kyung said, pulling up data. Humans are classified as coming from a Class 12 death world. This is the highest classification ever recorded. For comparison, the Vrakesh homeworld is Class 9. Murmurs spread through the assembly. Even the Vrakesh representatives looked surprised. Earth has several factors that make it extremely dangerous, Kyung continued. High oxygen content in the atmosphere, strong gravity, extreme temperature variations, high radiation from the sun, active tectonic plates causing earthquakes and volcanoes, powerful weather systems, and incredibly diverse and dangerous biology. He showed images of Earth's life, great white sharks with rows of teeth, lions with sharp claws, venomous snakes, poisonous spiders, microscopic bacteria that could kill in days, plants that caused pain just from touching them. Humans evolved alongside all of this, Kyung said. We had to become generalists. We can eat almost anything. We can survive in almost any climate. We can learn almost any skill. We had to, or we would have gone extinct. Corvus added his own findings. Human biology is remarkable. Their immune system is incredibly aggressive. It attacks any foreign organism with extreme force. This is why humans rarely get sick from alien diseases. Their immune system destroys the infection before it can take hold. But this causes problems too, Kyung said. The human immune system sometimes attacks the human's own body. We call this autoimmune disease. It is a price we pay for having such a strong defense. Humans also have an unusual pain tolerance, Corvus continued. They have chemicals in their brain that reduce pain signals. In emergencies, humans can ignore severe injuries and continue working. We saw this on Barak 9. Doyen worked with chemical burns on his skin. He felt the pain but did not let it stop him. Is this common for humans? A representative asked. All humans have this ability, Kyung confirmed, though some are better at it than others. We train our soldiers and emergency workers to push through pain. But even normal humans can do it when necessary. The assembly was quiet for a moment. Then Ellis, the aquatic diplomat who had attended Krostar's original demonstration, spoke up. I have a question, Ellis said. If humans are so dangerous, so resilient, so powerful, why should we trust them? Why should we believe they will not conquer us? It was a fair question. The room waited for Isol's answer. Because we do not want to conquer, Isol said. Yes, Earth made us strong, but it also taught us compassion. When you live on a world that is constantly trying to kill you, you learn that cooperation is survival. Humans take care of each other. We take care of the weak. We take care of the sick. We take care of the elderly. This is not weakness. This is strength. She pulled up footage from Barak 9. Jiwon treating patients. Doyen rescuing trapped workers. Nari repairing the dome. Look at them, Isol said. They are in pain. They are exhausted. They could have left. They could have saved themselves. But they stayed. They helped. They saved lives. This is what humans do. We see suffering and we try to stop it. Krostar stood up. He had been given permission to speak at this assembly, even though the Vrkesh were not the ones being evaluated. I have spent 3 months with humans, Krostar said. I tested them. I challenged them. I tried to understand them. And I learned something. The Vrkesh believed we were special because we were strong. But strength alone is not special. The humans are special because they combine strength with kindness. They are warriors who choose peace. They are survivors who help others survive. The galaxy does not need to fear humans. The galaxy needs to welcome them, the vote was called. Of the 417 species represented, 403 voted to accept humanity into the Galactic Coalition. It was one of the most unanimous votes in Coalition history. After the ceremony, Krostar found Juan at a celebration gathering. The human was trying something called Vrkesh wine. He made a face. This is awful, Juan said. It is an acquired taste, Krostar admitted. Here, try this instead. He offered a drink that was popular on Earth, something called whiskey that the humans had brought as a gift. Krostar took a sip and immediately regretted it. His mouth burned. His throat burned. His stomach burned. What is this poison? He gasped. Alcohol, Juan said cheerfully. We drink it for fun. For fun? Krostar stared at the glass. This is a toxic chemical. Why would you drink it for fun? Because it makes us feel relaxed, Juan explained. In small amounts, it is safe. Our liver processes it. Humans drink poison for recreation, Krostar said slowly. Of course you do. Why am I surprised? They sat together watching the celebrations. Representatives from dozens of species mingled. Some were trying human food. Others were looking at Earth artifacts. A group of young Quinn were listening to Nari tell stories about Earth's oceans. What happens now? Krostar asked. Now we work together, Juan said. The Coalition wants to create a joint Vrkesh human emergency response team. Deathworlders helping others, like you said. Nari already volunteered. So did Jiwon and Doyen. I think half my crew wants to join. Vexrim volunteered too, Krostar said. He says he wants to learn from humans. He says you have taught him that there are different ways to be strong. You are already strong, Juan said. We just do it differently. The Vrkesh are like tigers. Powerful, fast, dangerous when you need to be. Humans are like wolves. We work in packs. We endure. We never give up. Tigers and wolves, Krostar mused, working together. The galaxy should be terrified, or grateful, Juan said, because we are on their side. They watched as Yuna demonstrated something called dancing to a group of fascinated aliens. She moved to music, her body flowing with the rhythm. It looked effortless, but Krostar knew it required balance, flexibility, and stamina. More things that humans did casually. Can I ask you something? Krostar said. On Earth, with all its dangers, how do humans stay happy? How do you not live in constant fear? Juan thought about it. He thought about storms and earthquakes and all the ways Earth could kill someone. Then he thought about his childhood playing in the ocean, his sister's laugh, his mother's cooking, sunsets over the mountains, rain on the windows, the smell of flowers in spring. Because Earth is also beautiful, he said finally. Yes, it is dangerous. Yes, it is hard. But it is also amazing. We have sunsets that take your breath away. We have music that makes you cry. We have food that tastes like heaven. We have love and friendship and joy. The danger makes us appreciate the beauty more. We know life is short and precious, so we try to enjoy it. We try to help others enjoy it too. That is a good philosophy, Krostar said. It is the only one that makes sense, Juan replied. 6 months later, the first joint Vrakesh human rescue team deployed. They called themselves the Deathworlder Corps.